Hi students, my name is Jagdish Kumar Raidu. Let's welcome back to another important session, SAP methodology. Okay, what is this ASAP methodology? So let's see this, how we are going to do this one. Today's session, let's break the what is this ASAP methodology. So what we are going to discuss today in this topic, what is SAP? What is the purpose of SAP methodology? What are the different phases of SAP methodology? Advantages of SAP methodology. Okay, let's start the session for with what is the ASAP? Okay, SAP methodology means accelerated SAP methodology. Try to understand the term called accelerated. Accelerated means if you are driving a bike or car, when you press accelerator, what it will happen? It will increase your speed. So ASAP is a term which is the cost to increase the speed of your project. For example, you are going on a certain road. Okay, so you should know from where you are starting and where you are ending. The similar way, when you are starting a project, where you are starting and where you are ending, that planning should be required and the requirements need to be finalized. For that, there should be certain methodology. Okay, that means certain principles, certain work related aspects in terms of theory, which is practically converted into the practical to run a successful project. Many people think that SAP methodology only specific to project management. It's not like that. If you are working as a consultant in SAP project, you should know. Otherwise, if you don't know also, there is no problem. Being a junior or a trainee or consultant or senior consultant, you'll get to know once you get into the project. There is nothing to fear when you start working in real time, whatever the phase. But if you know the phase and if you know the terminology, then it will be a bit easy, to cope up with the situation when you try jobs on experience, or else when you're a fresher or a trainee, then it's easy for you. Okay, so basically what I mean to say is SAP is a methodology which is basically to run a project successfully at different levels. Okay, so many people think that when you are practicing on a standard SAP system, so it will be like this. Of course, your work will be, when it comes to the ground level, it will be like this. But when it comes to the project, it is bit different. Let's crack this, how we are going to discuss what is this SAP methodology maximum as much as possible to try to understand. Okay, so my definition says SAP methodology is often known as accelerated SAP. I told you what is accelerated, to speed up your project. Okay, so is it for project preparation? So like if you would like to start a project, if you take a certain company like BMW, or else Hero Honda, or else if you take Unilever, or else if you take Honeywell, if you take any one of the project, any domain, you require a project preparation. How much time required, how many resources it is required. Okay, this methodology developed and updated by the consultants who are involved in implementing SAP software products. In simple term, SAP is a methodology which drives to implement SAP software for your customers, okay, in certain time frame with certain project methodologies, certain limitations, and particular time frame. So that means it will give a discipline when you start a project. Okay, so like this framework, what it says, it provides different methods will be there at a project level. Maybe you might not know, once you become a project manager, you will have different methodology to implement a project. And it will be like a tool, and certain templates will be there to run a project, and it's specifically developed for your SAP projects. Okay. So what is the purpose of SAP? It's a roadmap. I told you, right? Where to start and where to end to implement a SAP project successfully. Okay. In simple, how to optimize? How to optimize? Now, optimize, you try to understand the term. Optimize means optimum utilization, maximum utilization, and not only maximum, accurate and productive utilization of your project resources. Like, first and most important thing is that time. How many pages, and like what is the timeline, like 6 months or 9 months or 1 year, 2 years. First phase 6 months, after the second phase 10 months. Okay, different kind of project relevant. It depends on, like, you will have waterfall method, waterfall project methodology, or else Jira. Nowadays it's going to be quite famous. Okay. And next one, what it will do, it will try to align resources who is going to work for this project. And next one is business requirements. Okay, so what is the client requirement, we have to convert into SAP. So if you think that in a SAP, only SAP system will be there, sometimes you will have other systems, also third party systems, or you should require the timelines, right? Your client is not making fun out of it by paying crores of rupees, so waiting time, like, whenever he want the project. So you have to give the timelines, and if he has to accept, then only everything will be on your road, like, when you, where you have to start and where you have to end. And risks, so, like, certain risks you have to estimate, pre-assume, like, if time limits are less, or if requirements are complex, and all these things can be optimized by using ASAP methodology. And you will have something like quality versus quantity. This is a term which is also there, like, how quality, like, without error free and performance based kind of software you are giving to your customer, or else is it more quantity than how you have to plan, how many resources needed, how much timelines needed, any additional timelines needed, everything will talk about this accelerated SAP. Okay, let's go to the, so what is SAP will do for SAP project. So generally, if you try to concentrate from olden days, like, 4.6, 4.5 SAP version onwards, now we are in 7.2 or more than, like, HP4 versions will be there in ECC, and you have S4 HANA also there. So for S4 HANA also have different phases that I will explain maybe in another video specifically for S4 consultants, or else it's not a big deal, it's more or less similar, but a slight differences are there according to the current conditions when you are going to implement a project. Generally it will have 5 to 6 pages. Old one 5 pages, new one new more phase added. I'll try to add that one once I explain the 5 phases of ASAP. What it will do, so first it will, like, if you're accepting a project, everything will be there based on your documentation. Without documentation is the clear transparency between your customer and you. So you will have a documents, what kind of documents we have, that we're going to see, we're going to discuss for you. And the recommendations, what kind of recommendations it should be needed for different processes. Like, if you are going to implement your business process is specific to sales and distribution related things, requirements, and something related to your material management, finance processes, whereas all three put together, like, integration, or else product systems is required, or production planning is required. So if it is manufacturing, one thing, suppose if you are implementing the same thing for bank, you don't require delivery, right? So that is different. If you are doing the same thing with insurance, you don't require. Whereas if you try to work for retail project, you have extensive master data for material management. There is something called merchandise categories, and what do you call the assortment listing. There are a lot of things, different terminologies. If it is retail system, in the similar way, like what are all the recommended processes and what are the different methods we're going to implement, okay, to accelerate your project and implementation of SAP systems. So whether it is a retail system or standard ECC system or a S4 HANA system or ECC S4 HANA system. So all these things will talks about. It's all depends on, like, if he is already there in another software, what we'll do. If he is already there, if he is going to be already there in SAP software, what it is going to do. Okay, all these things will talks about your SAP methodology. Okay, road mapping. Okay, now we are at right place. Like, what are the different phases of SAP methodology? Okay, first phase talks about project preparation. Okay, so if you see this, if you try to observe this slide, so I told you, right, previous methodology 5 phases and one more phase it will come for 6th phase. Okay, that we will discuss. So initial project planning. Okay, so project procedures, training, project kickoff, technical requirements, and quality check. All these are the, on a brief, it looks like a brief. It has a lot of groundwork needed. Sometimes it might be like 60 days, sometimes it might be 3 months or something like that. So what is project preparation? Okay, so all these are the 6 phases. Let's go to the project preparation. So first, how exactly SAP project will start? Not only SAP project, if you try to consider any non-SAP project also, Java, .NET, or whatever you take. But we'll, since we are from SAP background, we'll try to discuss about in the limitations or perspective of SAP. Okay, never call SAP. That is wrong. SAP. Okay. So first, what it will happen? Generally, if you take service companies like Accenture, Cognizant, TCS, NTT Data, Wipro, you take any service company, what they will do, okay? First, they have one team called pre-sales team. Maybe if you are already introduced to real time of SAP or any other software, you'll come to know. Like, you'll come to know what is pre-sales team. So certain consultants, after working certain time, they are getting into the pre-sales, or else certain guys, they're starting their career as a pre-sales team consultant, and they're getting into the our SAP implementation consultant also. These are the probabilities we have. This is what I have seen out of my 10 years of SAP experience, actual experience. So what pre-sales will do? Pre-sales basically, for sales, you have a certain methodology, right, to tap the market. For example, Accenture is having one client. The same client, they would like to tap it. For Wipro, what Wipro sales team will approach, the client is not happy, or as client don't wanted to, for security, he don't wanted to get the services with the one service company, or else maybe XX reasons will be there for existing client, or else he is completely new clients not there in SAP, or else some other technology. Sometimes client only approaching to service companies. For the pre-sales, they will do the presentation. They, like, higher level, like, vice president level, your direct level, these kind of people also get involved. Those people will call it as the stakeholders. Sometimes senior management, like, your directors, sometimes you have chances to get into the your project managers also, senior project managers also. Okay, these stakeholders, what they will do? Stakeholders means, stake means, for example, if you are doing, if you are aware of share marketing, if you buy it, if you buy a share in a company called Wipro, that means your shareholder. Stakeholders means, like, these guys having shares within the company, like that. Wipro higher level vice presidents and all these people will be there, right? They are having, their ball game is completely different. It's not like consultant. What they will do? So they will basically, once pre-sales confirmed that. So for example, you take one client called Honeywell. They would like to give We have bidded for implementation, we have bidded for support also, but assume that sometimes you can see like business standard and these kind of times of India nowadays bit better, like if we try to see like entity one SAP support like services for Honeywell. Okay, so like that you can see the different news how it happens, because pre-sales team will go on pitch, and after few days and the stakeholders will go like a higher level management, and they will try to do something, and they will try to get into the project. Assume that we got in implementation project, the stakeholders and senior management will have a discussion with them. So what kind of systems they want it? Sometimes they need SAP, Oracle and Salesforce. So then three systems they needed: SAP to SAP communication, SAP to non-SAP communication, and what is the middleware? They're going to use PI, XA, or whatever it may be. Like it's a bit technical. So on a high level, they will have a discussion with the customer. Customer side also some technical people will be there. Sometimes it might be there, it might not be there. Okay, you have a stakeholders and senior management get involved, and once that is done, a few days discussion, 10 to 15 days, or sometimes even 60 days, or else sometimes they are trying for 5 to 6 months also to get that project actually on board with the service company. So they will get the information what the customer is needed, what kind of resources need to get involved, how many. So if it is big project, like if it is running 4 phases on a parallel, it need to be finished in 2 years. So then they required some four senior project managers, four like assistant project managers. After that your senior management leads module wise and everything will capture like what are all the resources and what is the technology behind in it. So basis team, so different teams will be there. Okay, so architects, system architect is different from your SAP functional architect and a technical architect. Okay, what kind of architects we want it? There should be onboarded clear project objectives, like this should be finished. If it start from today, then it need to be finished this phase by 6 months. Clear project objectives. I'm just giving an example. It's not that much easy to frame that draft and all those things. Okay, project team members. See, we have seen certain scenarios like initially we accepted certain projects. In one of my project it happened. Assume that generally we met deadlines, suppose because of certain chances, or else initial estimation of your project objectives, or else the complexity of the project. If it is failed to implement, then they will ask you to rework, and they will give it to the next year also. These kind of chances also there. Okay, the project, you should have to work seriously. It's not a single person work, it's a teamwork. All modules are successful, all people are successful, including our data loads team. Everything is successful, then only your project will successful. Like if resources are living in the middle of the project, or else architects are not good, certain case there are certain reasons, different reasons to fail a project. But 98 to 99% of the projects will be successful. Sometimes 95 to 96 projects halfway done and handled in support. Different things are there, I have seen in my experience. Okay, so project team members, clear project objectives, architects, information resources. I think you can understand what I mean to say. What I mean to say is stakeholders means like vice president level, general manager level, or some such kind of big folks. Okay, over the experience you can also become like this. There is nothing surprise, all these are human beings. Okay, don't fear about all these things. Next, business blueprint. This is the most interesting phase for functional consultants and technical consultants. Okay, generally architects, or else senior functional consultants, being a project manager, or else if previous experience is like good functional architect, such kind of people, what they will do, they will draft the project. So for example, what blueprint says, blueprint means that is the proof for your customer what you are going to do at a high level. Okay, so that high level requirements will be gathered. Like many people have a doubt, For example, my customer is located in Poland or England. I'm located in India. Wipro, how would I do? Your budget permits, you can travel there. Okay. For example, Polish people is there. Assume that you are doing for Japan also, Japan people is there. So generally what service companies will do, they will send on site. Why? Because Japanese people might not be good at their spoken English skills. Actually, certain case, what it will happen. So it is very close to them. Try to understand the requirements and captured in one document. That's blueprint. I'll just tell one example. How many company codes needed? How many plants needed? How many sales organizations needed? Whether what is my account receivable? What is my account payable? What are all my business processes? Do I require OTC returns, free of charge, subsequent free of charge? All these things will be high level. It will be captured at a blueprint level. So basically what they will do, you'll have a questionnaire. Questionnaire means don't prepare a questions and go to your customer and ask the questions directly. I want, please tell me the answers. It's not like that. With your experience, at their business level, you'll ask questions. And after that, you came back to your hotel, or else you try to capture in your Word document or PPT, you make a note and you try to think about that. How many times you wanted to do, you can think about that high level. You just go back to them and check with them in the timeline. For blueprinting also certain time will be there. This is phase 2. Okay, got it. So realization, most stunning and beautiful and actual working phase of the project. That means above 2 level, like stakeholders, business blueprint level, certain people will be there. This is like, sometimes serious, sometimes it might be funny. Like, whatever they do, it doesn't matter. But when it comes to actual requirements, so your higher requirement will be breaking into the actual system configurable requirements, customizable requirements. Here, what will you do? Baseline configuration you will do first thing. So what baseline configuration? Good question. Baseline configuration means, like, suppose your highest element is client in SAP. After that, what is that? If you would like to start for SAP project, company code. Okay. The similar way, if you look at in the perspective of material management, there also you have a plant, whereas sales, your sales organization. So based on configuration, you are going to configure based on blueprint what you have gathered. I'm just telling an example. These are the higher level elements. Based on that, you are going to configure your sub level dependency configurations, like sales order, header, item, how many item categories you needed, and all these things. Okay. High level, some people see, this is the beauty of, if you capture the blueprint properly, with that you can go with the flow actually to prepare low level requirements. Okay. So in realization phase, actual business specific requirements, gather, configure, develop, unit test, quality test, and so on. I kept like this. This is what it happens. How many projects you work for implementation. Okay. So requirement gathering. For example, in standard our SAP system, you create a sales order, delivery, billing. The customer want it. I want billing automatic. What will you do? So you will have a dependency of background job. What will you do? Your SD build program will be there. Okay, it's, don't get into the more technicalities, like, like this. Or else in sales order, you have a delivery date, requested delivery date. Okay, at one field. Requested delivery date, generally after doing availability check, it is fixing. But your customer don't want it. You want to fix certain days, like, Monday, Thursday, and Sunday for certain customer. So automatically it need to pick. So these kind of requirements you will be handled with the help of technical consultants. Every functional consultant is having his own set of creativity to handle the requirements. So you will basically, what will you do? You gather the business requirements. After that, you will just try to convert into functional specifications. Once functional specification is ready, okay, FS documents, what will you do? We'll start working with, you'll do configure at functional side. If you're a techno function consultant, then you can able to configure and write the code, or else you have a dependency of your technical team. Okay, so different kind of documents will be there: functional specification, technical specifications. Okay, so like QA level, you will have a different test cases, and all these things will be handled in this realization phase. Actual project will continue. Okay, I will, for this realization phase, so what exactly it happens, unit test and quality assurance test, I'll try to explain you maybe my next video with a landscape or something like that, how it works. Okay, and you have a KT, knowledge transfers, and configuration testing, and so on. Okay, functional testing. So this is phase 3. Phase 2, blueprinting. Phase 1, project preparation. Now let's come here, final preparation. So final preparation, generally it will be like somewhere like before going to production, you will do UAT, user acceptance testing. So that is the place where, for example, you tested one bomb is there, bill of material, multi-level bomb is there. That is into, that is broke into like some 25 levels. The same thing, single material you tested, that is fine at unit level. Quality level also you tested, but user says that such kind of materials, some 100 materials he gave to test, maybe performance issue might come because of your program or something like that. So the performance tuning need to be required to bomb work for 100 materials or 1000 materials like that. Even 25 to 100 level bomb explosion like that. I'm just giving an example. So or else, how many users, what is the daily load? For example, if you specifically if you take retail industry, so if you go to big bazaar, how many people are coming? Too many people are coming every day, like with baskets, and bills need to be generated quickly. So it depends on load, right? So the same big bazaar, if it is located in city at 10 places, metros, and including your towns and villages and everywhere all put together, like some 10,000 to 20,000 places, then everyone is running the same billing quickly. So then your POS, point of sale, will call it as. So how it need to perform, maybe performance issues might come. So like so you will do the stress testing. Okay, so you will do integration testing. You have checked your module, it is working fine. F5 person checks it, his module, it is working fine. person checked his module, it is working. I'll put together wherever integrations is there, that time you might have chances to fail, or your application might be slow, and all these things will be there in your final preparation. Like certain times on reality, this phases process also, before going to go live also, people day and night working. That is the reason why in implementation people are saying tough. If roadmap is clear and your working resources are skilled, then it is good. That's why there is nothing wrong if you don't have an experience. There is always set up your mind like that, I want to do it. Then there he goes. You will have all answers for your project or your life or whatever you want to do it. And in this preparation, they will do the trying for users. When if it is go live, and first day suddenly if they go and sit on the system, how they will come to know the SAP system? That's why user training is required. All these things before system go live only they will do that. Once users are comfortable, they will confirm to their client and everything, then only they will try to release the project. This is final preparation. Okay, and how you are going to go live? Generally your systems will be go live Saturday Sunday. That means maximum Sundays, non-business hours, because when system is up and run, that time you are going to do go live and all these things, like at your database level a lot of impact will be there. Okay, it is very simple. When you are already using a mobile, okay, can you parallelly allow for repair of that mobile? We are playing a game, you ask him, you repair it, in the meanwhile I will play. It's not possible. In the similar way, it will apply. It's a simple logic. SAP is very simple actually, if you try to apply in your daily life. Okay, this is one thing. You have a go live strategy. One document will be there, like at what time exactly we have to live the system. When like there is something called there are few things before going live. Sanity testing, like all configurations moved or not. Okay, integration testing, interface testing, everything will be done. That's why, so if customer is given one Sunday, means that total Sunday night work people will do. This is what it happens. Don't panic about all these things. It's a fun actually. So your project managers or delivery managers, they will arrange nice food and all those things to suck your blood actually. That's, I'm just joking, don't worry. Okay, you have something called cutover run book. So what is cutover run book? Your cutover run book will discuss about, like what are all the configuration needs to be done in the particular system, whether the configuration client independent or dependent, how many maintenance tables are there, how many configurable tables are there. Okay, what are all the third party systems we are going to integrate with SAP. A lot of journey with cutover book. If you are experienced in SAP, no problem. If you are not experienced, also no problem. Be strong in your basics. Once you get the job, you'll get to know all these things. This is final preparation. Go live. When system is live, you are using the system and support. I'll give you the best example. Recently, Google Pixel 6 Pro release, hanging, heating up issues. I use it to see in YouTube. Like, you'll have a parallel Google support also, whoever bought that mobile. So a lot of bugs will be there. They will release the beta version. They will release the actual version to fix your bugs. Nowadays, if you buy any new mobile, you don't get, like hot cake. There are certain defects will be there. The similar way, those defects will be handled and support. That is called post go live support. Post go live support means, like after system is live, I think it is right context to share my experience or not. In one of my project, one billing related functionality failed. Overnight, all consultants, some 2 3 consultants at different countries, not my project, my fellow colleague project, on parallel, whoever working for the same client. So they so it's not, your printing job is not working. Suddenly what they did, they started taking printouts one by one manually. After that, they took a time of, like 17 hours or 18 hours by raising one severity or priority one ticket. All people will involve, they fix it. That is different story. So that's why, that's where support needed. Sometimes user might be in a position to create wrong way, even if it is properly trained also, because he is quite new to system. There are the consultants, you have to support it. Post go live support will be generally 25 days to 45 days. It will be there. Most of the times it will be 45 days. After 45 days, warranty expires. Actually, implementation consultants won't support. For support, maybe the same team or different team, they depends on the bidding, they will work on that. This is all about your post go live support. This is time to say thank you. I would like to say all the best for patience on listening SAP methodology. So I told you, right, another phase, what it will do. That phase, there is different methodology key, what they will do in projects. So generally, you will have a quality system, quality level. You're going to do this integration testing and your testing. Actually, once you've done the unit testing at functional level, QA level means your testing team will involve, maybe your team or different team, maybe from your company or different company. Being a service company also, client also can give bidding to another company, third party company. Okay, because he is expecting quality on that solution. So that is old kind of thought actually. Nowadays projects, what they are doing, you are doing, suppose if you are doing configuration, on parallel testing also is happening. If you are doing integration, on parallel testing is also happening. Suppose on configuration you are doing, you are going for integration, configuration is fine. So in integration you came to know that something fails, then they it's like, you know, rolling back to their respective team, so to fix the issue. So that, you know, when you comes to the final go live stage, it should be 100% quality. So by UAT time, you will have minimum defects. So that exploring phase will be there on parallel. Okay. So this is all about your SAP methodology. So my name is Jagdish Kumar. If anyone wanted to learn SAP, you can comment, or else no problem. So like if you have any doubts on SAP methodology also, you can comment. I'll try to answer. This is the brief about SAP methodology. I wish you all the best who would like to choose SAP as their bright career. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thanks for your patience.